This is a big day, an emotional day here in Las Vegas. If you were living here during the 1 October shootings, then you probably remember where you were and what that day was like for you as the town centered around this tremendous tragedy. Well, we've continued to try to help heal as a community. And today we're going to touch on that, just a little bit of healing so that we all might be able to move forward and move up together as a city.
Absolutely. Dan Ficalora, he is the Assistant Clinical Director over at Bridge Counseling. He's joining us now. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. Great to be here.
I'll tell you, there are days like this, man, where you're either directly affected or like on 1 October, you either were there or you knew someone that was there. Everyone was affected in one way or another. How do you cope with the emotions that get arisen on a day like this?
The biggest thing is just to be prepared, to know that it comes around every year, the 1st of October. It's on the calendar, is very identified with that date. Yeah. And knowing this is going to be a tough time and putting your skills and your routines in place so that you're doing little preemptive care before the date rolls around.
Yeah, certainly. And you're helping us do that today here on the blend. So thank you for being here. I think that, the word trauma comes to mind and shock. And also, I think for so many folks here in town, like their lives change, their beliefs, their perceptions about their own personal safety or public gatherings were shifted on that day. What can you tell people about how to advise people on ways to continue to heal or continue to kind of face those feelings of fear?
Sure. I think you hit the nail on the head that when we're talking about trauma, we're talking about safety. We have that trauma reaction, whether you were there and it was a primary trauma, or you were, like most of us, a secondary trauma or an observer of the events. A lot of us felt very unsafe in our community, unsafe attending events. So if we can increase the safety by reducing the stigma of talking about the trauma that we all experience in the Las Vegas community and reaching out to each other and supporting our family members, our coworkers, our friends in this collective trauma that we all went through, I think that opening up the conversation and creating that space for safety is going to lead to the most lasting healing.
Yeah. I know like about at least a dozen people that were there that day. And on a day like this, you almost want to like hug them and go up to them. You're okay. How are things? I feel like I don't want to smother them though, but are there things I should be looking out for perhaps when it comes to signs or symptoms that they may be struggling on a day like
Absolutely.
this or just in general?
If you look at your loved ones and you notice any kind of behavioral change, they're doing things that they didn't used to do more in excess, or they're not doing things that they used to do and they're withdrawing more from activities or from social interaction, those are usually pretty good warning signs that something's up. When we're experiencing a trauma and being reminded that intrusive thoughts are coming back about that event, oftentimes our negative emotions spike. We might be feeling more aggressive, might be feeling more down, depressed, or anxious. We might engage in some of the vices that we have done in the past, but into more extremes and like engaging with alcohol, drugs, and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of it's coping, and certainly we've seen not only a boost in anger, around events like this, but I think even the pandemic has brought a lot of people's anger to the surface. I know that I've experienced that in the airport. I've experienced that in the grocery store. So it's a great topic, and I think that's the bigger thing, Dan, that we appreciate about you today is just the fact that even if you weren't there, let's all talk about how we're feeling today. Let's get it out. And that's really what you do at Bridge Counseling. What led you to, go into a career as a counselor?
Ooh, that's a big question. I wanted to help people, and this was the way that it was most natural to me. I wasn't big into math or science, but I could have a conversation with somebody, and just opening up that opportunity to create that safe space and have a place to talk and recognize that it's okay not to be okay, that it's acceptable to come in and work on yourself. Anybody could benefit from therapy, even if you're not, mentally ill or experiencing really serious symptoms. Any one of us have something in our lives that we can improve on, and taking an hour a week to focus on yourself with a professional that's trained in problem solving, it can benefit any of us.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were raised to be like, oh no, you got to be tough, you got to get through it. And frankly, it's tough to go through it alone sometimes. So it's nice to be able to have somebody to be able to confide in. Great to talk to you, my friend. We appreciate you coming on today, and take care of yourself.
Thanks,
Okay.
Dan.
Thank you so much.
All right. You want to learn more about Bridge Counseling? Go to bridgecounseling.org. Their number, locations right there on your screen as well.